If you were dropped into the Amazon rainforest right now, with nothing but the clothes on your back, how long do you think you'd last? Most people guess a few days. The truth is, without the right knowledge, it could be a matter of hours. The Amazon is the largest rainforest on Earth, home to more species than almost anywhere else on the planet, and most of them would rather you weren't there. Today, we're breaking down exactly what it takes to survive in one of the most unforgiving environments on Earth. Let's start with the single biggest threat, and it's not what most people expect. It's not jaguars, it's not snakes, it's water. In a place that gets over 2 meters of rainfall a year, dehydration still kills faster than almost anything else, because most of that water is unsafe to drink straight from the source. Rivers and streams in the Amazon carry parasites, bacteria, and waterborne diseases that can incapacitate you within a day. The first rule of survival here is simple. Never drink untreated water, no matter how clear or clean it looks. If you don't have a way to boil it, certain vines, like the water vine found throughout the rainforest, can be cut to release drinkable liquid. But even that has to be identified correctly, because the jungle is full of lookalikes that can do the opposite of hydrate you. Next comes shelter, and here's something most people get wrong. Sleeping on the ground in the Amazon isn't just uncomfortable, it's dangerous. The forest floor is home to biting insects, disease-carrying ticks, and snakes that hunt at night when the temperature drops and the ground stays warm. Experienced survivalists build shelters off the ground, using vines and branches to create a raised platform just high enough to stay clear of crawling predators. A simple lean-to, angled to shed rain, covered with large palm leaves layered like roof shingles, can keep you dry through the nightly downpours that hit almost every afternoon in the rainforest, like clockwork. Now let's talk about food, because starvation is a slower killer than most people assume, but it will eventually cloud your judgment and drain the energy you need for everything else on this list. The Amazon is full of edible plants, but it's also full of plants that will make you violently ill or worse, and many of them look nearly identical. The safest strategy isn't foraging blindly, it's targeting what you can positively identify. Certain palm hearts, found inside the trunks of specific palm trees, are a reliable and filling source of nutrition. Insects, as unappetizing as they sound, are actually one of the safest and most abundant protein sources in the jungle. Grubs, certain beetles, and even large ants provide real caloric value, and indigenous communities across the Amazon have relied on them for generations. Here's where things get more dangerous. Let's talk about the wildlife that actually poses a threat, starting with something most people wouldn't expect: the jaguar. Jaguars are ambush predators, meaning they don't chase, they wait. Unlike lions or tigers that often announce their presence, a jaguar's attack usually comes without warning, from dense cover aimed at the back of the neck. The good news is that jaguar attacks on humans are extremely rare, mostly because jaguars generally avoid humans altogether. The real danger in the water is far more common: caimans, the Amazon's relative of the alligator, which ambush from just beneath the surface near riverbanks, especially at dawn and dusk when they're most active. Then there are the snakes. The Amazon is home to some of the most venomous snakes on the planet, including the fer-de-lance, responsible for more snakebite fatalities in Latin America than almost any other species. The key to avoiding a bite isn't running from every rustle in the leaves, it's understanding behavior. Snakes don't hunt humans, they react to being surprised or stepped on. Moving slowly, checking foot placement before each step, and avoiding thick leaf litter where snakes rest during the day dramatically reduces risk. If a bite does happen, the worst thing you can do is panic, because increased heart rate speeds up venom circulation. Staying as still as possible while seeking help is the actual survival strategy, not the frantic sprint you see in movies. Now, here's a threat almost nobody talks about, and it's arguably more dangerous than every animal combined: insects and disease. Mosquitoes in the Amazon carry malaria, dengue, and yellow fever. And unlike a jaguar attack, you might not even notice you've been bitten until symptoms appear days later. Covering exposed skin, especially at dawn and dusk when mosquito activity peaks, is one of the simplest and most effective survival habits you can build. Beyond insects, something as small as an untreated cut can become life-threatening in the humid jungle environment, where bacteria thrive and wounds are slow to heal. Cleaning even minor injuries immediately isn't optional here, it's essential. Let's talk about navigation, because getting lost is often the actual event that turns a hike into a survival situation. Beneath a thick rainforest canopy, the sun is barely visible, and the terrain looks almost identical in every direction, which makes disorientation incredibly easy. Experienced guides use rivers as their primary navigation tool, because water always flows toward civilization, eventually, toward larger rivers, settlements, or the coast. Following a river downstream, even slowly and carefully along the bank, is one of the most reliable ways to eventually find people when getting back to a known point isn't possible. Fire deserves its own mention, because in a rainforest that receives daily rain, starting one is far harder than survival shows make it look. Everything on the forest floor tends to be damp, which means dry tinder has to be found higher up, inside hollow logs, under bark, or from dead branches still attached to trees rather than lying on the ground. Once a fire is lit, it serves more purposes than just warmth. It purifies water through boiling, cooks forage food safely, and keeps nocturnal predators, which are far more active after dark, at a distance. And finally, let's talk about the factor that outlasts every physical challenge on this list: your mind. Survival experts consistently say that psychological state determines outcomes as much as any physical skill. Panic leads to poor decisions, wasted energy, and exhaustion. The people who survive extended time in extreme environments like the Amazon are rarely the strongest or the most experienced. They're the ones who stay calm, think methodically, and make small, deliberate decisions instead of desperate ones. Fear is a completely rational response to the Amazon rainforest, but it's controlling that fear, not eliminating it, that actually keeps people alive. So there you have it: water before food, shelter off the ground, movement over panic, and a calm mind over everything else. The Amazon isn't trying to kill you, it's simply indifferent to whether you live or die. And that indifference is exactly what makes preparation and knowledge so critical. Let us know in the comments which one of these survival facts surprised you the most, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's most extreme environments.